I'm Sudarshan Koirala and welcome back to Data Science Basics. In this video, let's talk about AGNO. Well, by hearing the name, you think that is kind of a new name, right? And yeah, that is true because Phidata, I hope if I say Phidata, then you know Phidata, right? Phidata has rebranded itself as AGNO. So I thought that this would be a right time to create a video and talk about what AGNO is and what we can build on top of AGNO, so you get the holistic view of what it is capable of doing, right? How the video will proceed is, at first what I will try to do is explain what AGNO is. And by the way, I will be taking all the documentation from AGNO's website, so you can follow along with me, or if you think you can just follow from the website itself, then feel free to do so. I'm just trying to provide some additional informations by walking you through the platform itself, and we'll be trying different things together. The next thing is what are agents. I will show you the basic example of the agent and what we can do with the tools in the agent, and agent with the knowledge, and the multi-agent teams, right? So by this understanding, you can then extend this knowledge to whatever use case you have. Once we start building on this, what AGNO also has is the agent playground. You can create all those agents separately and have a good looking UI which is provided by AGNO itself. So you can just go there and ask the questions as you do from the Python file itself. And the most important thing is also the agent observability. When you create the agent, you need to monitor and track your agents. So this is also inbuilt with this one. I have here some of the definitions of agent, what is agent, and so on. You can just pause the video and watch it. There is agents, there is LLMs, there is tools, which does some actions, all the different things, right? So here is one of the definitions. I'm taking this directly from the Hugging Face new agent course. I will be walking you through the AGNO documentation itself. If this is the video you are looking for, welcome to this video. This video will be quite long because I will be covering all these things. There will be time stamps in the video. Feel free to jump between different parts of the video. Let's get started. Okay, so this is the website, right? Phidata. When you land into this website, as you can see here, it says here Phidata is now AGNO. We have moved. Check out our new home at AGNO AGI. It will take you to the GitHub page, AGNO. It says here AGNO is a lightweight framework for building multi-modal agents. You can go through this GitHub page and see what it is all about. But we are going into the documentation. So docs.agno.com. This is the website. I will be covering these 4 different parts of AGNO. Welcome to AGNO. What is AGNO all about? We create the first agents. So what are agents and all these things will be covered there, as I mentioned you in this diagram. And then we will see how you can run the agent playground and then the agent observability, right? First thing first, let's go and see what is AGNO. As I said, AGNO is a lightweight framework for building multi-modal agents. And by the way, I need to thank to the AGNO's team because the description they have written in each part of the documentation is quite clear. I don't need to explain so much. I can just read and that's it. It's self-explanatory, right? Simple, fast, and agnostic. AGNO is designed with 3 core principles: simplicity, no graphs, chains, or this. I also find it really easy to create the agents, and uncompromising performance, blazing fast agents with a minimal memory footprint, and truly agnostic, any model, any provider, any modality, future-proof design. It's easier to jump between different models. Just to show you this, you can see here on the left side. So there are so many different models already you can use. I'm going to show you in this example from OpenAI, which is by default the model that they use under the hood. But you can see there are many models there, right? And what are the key features? You can just see here the key features: lightning fast, model agnostic, multi-modal, multi-agent, memory management, knowledge stores, structured output, and monitoring. All of these things are baked into AGNO. This is really good part, right? So that is what is AGNO. Now let's go to what are agents. Agents are autonomous programs that use language models to achieve the task. They solve problems by running tools assessing knowledge and memory to improve responses, right? Instead of a rigid binary definitions, let's think an agent in terms of agency and autonomy, right? So level 0, level 1, level 2, level 3, which I'm going to show you: basic agent, agent with tools, agent with knowledge, and multi-agents. Just for you to understand, it's the agency is written here, right? I just want to think the agent. For example, you want to buy or sell the house. Let's say you want to sell the house. You don't want to be contacted directly by the buyers, right? You hire agency or agent from some agency. They act as a middleman between you and the buyers, so you don't need to talk to the end users. All the thing is being handled by the agent. If they want to know more informations, in this case it's the knowledge, they come to you and get informations out of you, and they will be talking to the buyers. If they want to use other tools to make the buyers satisfied to buy the house, they will do their thing. Agent handles all the things, you don't need to take care about that. That's the example also here to understand in simple terms. You give instructions, meaning that okay, you tell to the agent, I want to sell the house, and agent takes care of all the other things. At the end, your main purpose is to sell the house. In the agent case, your main purpose is to get answer from some system. It is handled by the agents, calling the knowledge base, calling the tools, talking between different agents, and so on. At the end, you get the answer. I hope I made it clear to understand what the agent is all about. Now let's go to the basic agent. I'm following this diagram which I showed you before. What are agents? I just explained that. And now basic agent. But before going into that, I just want to go one step back. When you run or create agents, you might face difficulties appear when you create the agent, because there is LLMs under the hood, there might be some dependency issue, there might be some other different issues, right? What I liked about AGNO is also they have this FAQs here, which there is the main things that you might face. For example, setting environment variables. There are multiple ways how to do that. There is one example being provided to you. I will show you different example here, but you get the idea. There is TPM rate limiting. This kind of issue is what you get when you create the agents, right? So how to tackle those things also, it's mentioned here. These are the things which is in the documentation itself. Here is the command line authentication, how to authenticate it. We'll come back to this later, but we will deal with this. And connecting to table plus if you want to do that. Docker connection error sometimes. OpenAI key request when using other models. The default model specified in the agent is OpenAI model. It is best to specify the model for the agent explicitly, otherwise it would default to OpenAI chat. We need to specify which models we want to use, because AGNO uses OpenAI models by default in several places. It asks you to provide the OpenAI key, right? Because there is being used in multiple places. I hope that is clear. And same thing happens with the embedder also. It is mentioned here. You can read more into it. But now let's go into the user guide. Let's create our first agent. The instruction is quite clear. I'll just copy the code from here, paste it in the VS Code, and run the things. Here we are using VENV, but I am going to use UV and show you, because UV is quite fast and it's good practice now in most of the documentations. People are using UV to manage the virtual environments and other Python packages also. It makes your life easier. So first thing first, what I will do is I will bring my terminal here. I will go to the folder where I want to do things. I will create a folder called AGNO, right? I will go inside the folder. Now I'm inside the AGNO, right? And now if I am here, what I can do is install the UV, because here it is. Maybe I need to explain a little bit about virtual environments, because whenever you are working with Python packages, I recommend you create a virtual environment. With UV, you don't need to be thinking, did I create the virtual environment or not? Because if you initialize the UV, it takes care of that. If you go to this UV, I'll provide the link in the description. Just install whatever your preference is. In Mac OS, Linux, or Windows, all the different steps are mentioned here. I have already installed it. You can just copy and install it. I have already installed it using brew. So if I do here UV version, you can see I have installed version 0.5.11 with homebrew. Because if I do control V, which I just copied, if I run this, it will say that okay, I have already installed, downloading version this, everything is installed. Warning, the following commands are shown by this. So it's there, right? No check sums to verify. So I already have UV. First thing, download the UV. And if you need help or guidance, you can go to my YouTube channel. I try to create videos, essential videos, so that you can get help. There are tons of videos in YouTube. You can go anywhere and learn. But here I have created one video about UV, extremely fast Python package manager written in Rust. If you want to take help or need some guidance, you can go to this video and install UV, right? But now we can initialize it. I'm inside a folder here, right? So I will do UV init, and you can see here, this is one of the example that I used before, but I will say here AGNO. Okay, I need to provide the name because it went there. So UV init name, and I can give AGNO. So what I'm doing here, I'm saying you initialize the UV, use the Python version 3.11 and give the name AGNO. If there is no Python 3.11, it is going to be installing. When I run this, you can see it says initialize the project AGNO. So now I will open this in VS Code so I can explain easily. Yes, I trust the authors, and I will create a terminal here so it's easier for me to show you what I'm doing, right? So you can see once I run this, these are the files being created automatically. Git ignore and all the basic Python generated things. .venv is already there, and Python version, because we asked it to use 3.11. This is the dummy Python hello file. There is PyProject toml where we will be adding packages. It will be stored here, right? And the readme file is empty. You can add readme as you go. This is a template already being created for us, right? So once this is done, what we need to do is just create our first agent, right? For that, we need to copy basic agent.py. I will copy this. I will go to VS Code, create a new file here, basic agent.py. I will paste this. By the way, I just want to show you what happens if I run this, because I need to have packages installed and the OpenAI API key. If you run these things, it will ask you to install those. This is one level of learning things as you go. In the documentation, it is mentioned that you need to install OpenAI and AGNO. Maybe you copied something and it didn't work. You need to install some packages and you don't know how to install the packages. The good idea would be also to run the file itself. I haven't provided any API keys right now. This is the first file. I'm explaining you all the different things. So now how to run the file, right? With Python, you can just do Python and file name, right? But with UV, you can do UV run and you can give the file name. So I can say here UV run basic agent.py. So what happens if I run this? Here you see that it says no module named AGNO. So what you can do, now you can add the packages. This is what I'm saying. Instead of directly doing pip install or uv add something, it's good to add one step at a time. So you can now do uv add agno. If I show you this PyProject toml, here there is no agno, right? If I do here uv add agno, I will run this one. So it says requirements name agno matches project name agno. When you give the name, it shouldn't be the same as the package. Now you see these are the requirements set here. So what I can do here is I can say agno tutorial. That's it. I will save this one. I renamed the thing that was being created when I initialize uv, and now if I run uv add agno, you can see all the packages it's already installed there. That's that fast uv. That's why I recommend you to use the uv. And now you can see there is agno. Okay, this is installed. Now if I clear the screen and again run the file, it will complain about the OpenAI package. If I run this, you can see here it says OpenAI, right? So you can do uv add OpenAI. There you go. OpenAI is installed and it is here. Now, if I again run, it will complain about the API key because we haven't provided the API key, right? If I run this one, you see here it says API key client option must be either this. I haven't passed the OpenAI API key. This is how you can go step by step what is being used instead of directly installing everything. This is one approach how you can learn things. I can clear this one. Now I need to have the OpenAI API key. So if you go to the documentation, it is saying here that you can export the OpenAI API key in the terminal and use it. But because we are creating multiple files, I recommend you create the .env and provide the OpenAI API key. So here is the OpenAI API key. I will copy the thing here. I will go to the VS Code. I will create a file named .env. OpenAI API key equals. Now we need to paste the OpenAI API key, right? I will save this first. Now I will go to the browser. In another tab here, I have the OpenAI API key link. I'll provide the link in the description. If you don't have already, you need to create the account and set up your accounts. And here you can give different project names. First, I will use the project. It is not needed, but I think it's better because if you know which project you are working on and which API key it is using there, right? Now I will create the API key. I will choose the AGNO project, create secret key, copy. I will delete this API key later. I'm showing you. And now I can go back to the VS Code. I will paste it. But now I haven't loaded this, right? If I still run the file, it will complain there is no API key. So I need to find a way to load the environment variables here, right? There are many ways, but you can ask the Copilot. If you are new to this, I have created a video about GitHub Copilot and how to configure that in VS Code. You can watch that video. Here you can open the chat and here you can say I want to load. And by the way, one thing is here you can choose different models. There is Claude 3.5, Sonnet, 03 mini preview and all the different. I can use 03 mini preview. I can say I want to load environment variables from .env. How can I do it using Python package? That's it, right? So you don't need to go to the web browser and search all the different things. Okay, here it says from .env this import the Python package, loads the environment variables and so on. Okay, make sure that you have installed python.env with this. So here it says pip install python.env. What I can do now, okay, I need that package, right? So now what I can do is I can copy this, Control C. I can go here and say uv add Control V, right? So python.env. So it was already being installed when I install the OpenAI and AGNO, right? I can go here and see which is what, but one thing about the assistance is you just select all the code that you have here because we don't have that many code, and then go here into this insert at cursor. There you go, everything is now here, and I can just close this. I can save it. Here what we are doing is this: we load the environment variables and we can use the same piece of code into different files so that we don't need to copy paste each and every time, right? So here we are importing the agent and the OpenAI chat. Here we are creating the agent, and model is we are using GPT-4o. We are giving the description, we are saying markdown equals to true. And by the way, there are many parameters into the agent, but here we are just using some of those. So you can go through the documentation and see what are the different parameters that is in the agent itself. But for us, we don't need other things. So stream equals to true, meaning that it will stream it. And that's it. We created our first agent using. And now if I run the file, I say uv run basic chart.py. Here you can see now the agent is working here. You are an enthusiastic news reporter with a flair for storytelling. This is the description. And tell me about a breaking news story from New York, right? Now you can see, I will just show you here. You can see here, October 3, 2023, breaking news, major blackout plunges Manhattan into darkness. And it is saying the summary, details, impact, reactions. Stay tuned for more. You can see it provides us the information, right? This is the vanilla agent, meaning that there is just LLM being used. There is no tools being used here, right? This is it. I can clear the screen for now. I hope you get the point here, right? Now I will go back to the documentations. Now I will go a little bit faster because this was taking time to explain, so I don't need to explain all the other things now agent with tools, right? I will copy the code. Before going to the next part, as you can see here, this is my YouTube channel. I create videos which I think might benefit for my audience. I will be creating more videos about AI, data science, machine learning, and so on. Just navigate through the channel. If you find that okay, these are the videos which I will be interested in, and similar kind of videos will be your goal to watch, then I would recommend you to subscribe, like, share, whatever you want to do, which helps me motivate so that I can learn new stuffs and then share with you so that you can also benefit out of it. And I will say agent with tools. And here I will create a new file called agent with tools.py. I will paste it. Here what we are doing from AGNO agent, from AGNO models OpenAI, this is exactly what we did before. And now we are taking DuckDuckGo tools, right? We want to do the internet search. One thing we need to do now is go back and just load this two things. I'll copy this. I will go here. You can even put it here, right? We are importing the environment variables, and now we are creating the agent again. Agent model, same thing before. Description, same thing before. Tools, and now we are using the DuckDuckGo tools, and we are saying show tool calls equals to true, markdown equals to true, and tell me about a breaking news story from New York. So now it will be using the tools in order to do the thing. Just to show you also that before it was taking the news a little bit earlier, right? Now let's see what happens. I hope you get the understand, right? I don't need to explain too much here now because everything is same. We are just using the DuckDuckGo tools here, right? I will run this uv run agent with tools .py. When I run this, it says DuckDuckGo source not installed. This is what I have been showing you. You copy the code from somewhere, you know what it is doing, but you don't know which package and so on. All the instruction was also mentioned here. You can see we need to install DuckDuckGo search, but we haven't installed that, right? So now I can go to VS Code. I can say uv add DuckDuckGo search, adding those things. It's added there. And now if I run this file again, you can see here, okay, DuckDuckGo search breaking news, max results equals 1 by default, how Trump's Canadian oil tariff would hit America's heartland. And this is from February 11 2025. Before it was using something from the past because it does not have the recent information. It went to the time where the LLM was being trained, where the data was being used to train that GPT-4o model. But now it has tool access, meaning that it can go through the internet, search, find the informations, and provide us. And you can see here there is the story and so on. The main idea of the tools is that you can enhance the agent basic one, the first example. Second one was using the tools, right? Now you can enhance this with as many tools as you want from the documentations, find which tool you want to use and go through it. You can see that it is taking from the New York Times. That was with the tools, right? Now if I go back, the third one now is agent with knowledge, right? Agents can store knowledge in a vector database and use it for RAG or dynamic few shot learning. AGNO agents use agentic RAG by default. I have already created two videos about AGNO when it was Phidata. You can see that it is using agentic RAG by default under the hood, which means they will search their knowledge base for the specific information they need to achieve their task. I give you the example before also about the agent buying the house or selling the house. They will be using the knowledge. Similarly, agent will be using the knowledge base for the specific information they need. The end goal is to achieve the task, right? So yeah, we can just copy this and run it. I will just copy this, go to the VS Code. I'll create a new file called agent with knowledge, right? Knowledge.py, and I will just paste whatever it was there, and I need to again go here and copy these two lines because I need to have the environment variables from the .env. I will save it. It's the importing things. We already imported until here, but now we have this OpenAI embedder because in the RAG we need to embed something, and we are using the PDF URL knowledge base. We are loading the URL as you can see here, and LensDB for the vector database, and source type is also being imported. We are using the model GPT-4o. You can use any of those. Description, you are a Thai cuisine expert. And now this instruction, right? This is really good. When you provide instruction to the agent, it follows what instruction you provided. Here it is saying sort your knowledge base for Thai recipes. If the question is better suited for the web, sorts the web to fill in the gaps. Prefer the information in your knowledge base over the web results, right? We are giving specific instruction for the agent. Prefer the web search, prefer the knowledge base search if you didn't find anything there, or if the question is better suited for the web, then source the web, right? And now we are using the knowledge, and here we are using the PDF knowledge base which we just imported here, and we are passing these URLs and vector db. Here I'm using the one that is provided by AGNO, so LensDB. So it is using the temp LensDB. Table name is recipes. Source type is source type.hybrid. In the embedder, we are using the OpenAI embedder and text embedding 3 small. By the way, there are so many different models being provided. You can use any of those because I cannot create videos for all the models out there. There are so many different models, right? There is OpenAI, Anthropic, Azure OpenAI, Cohere, DeepSeek, Fireworks, Grok, Olama, if you want to do it locally, all the different things. But you can just switch between the models. And now here we are saying tools as DuckDuckGo because we also want to go to the internet search. So tool calls equals to true, markdown equals to true. So by default, it uses the agentic RAG. So we don't need to pass any other informations. And in the first time, we need to create the knowledge base. Once the knowledge base is being created, as it is mentioned here also, comment out after the knowledge base is loaded. And you can ask the question here. Let's first ask the first question, right? I will just comment this one first. I will save the file first. And again, we haven't installed the necessary packages. It will ask us to install the packages. If I run the file uv add agent with knowledge.py, I run this one. So it says no solution found resolving dependencies, provide frozen. Okay, it's not uv add, but it's uv run, right? Sometimes the mistake is there. So uv run, so it will ask me to install PyPDF. Now you will see it will ask me to install many packages which I didn't know. Now I know, oh, okay, it is using PyPDF. I can say uv add PyPDF. It will install this one. There you go. And again, if I run this, it will ask me to install another one because we also use LensDB. Oh, okay, there is LensDB. uv add LensDB. That is installed. It will take some time, but thanks to uv, it's done quite fast. And now again, if I run this, there might be some additional tools needed. If not, then the agent will go and do his thing. Here it says, okay, OpenAI embedder this got unexpected keyword arguments ID on line 25. It gets unexpected keyword arguments called ID. Okay, so here OpenAI embedder. So one thing is also, if it is using by default, what we can even do is, because it is using OpenAI under the hood, right? We can just say, okay, OpenAI embedder. I will save this one, and if I run this, it will go through it because, okay, there is some additional things also still needed. So 10TV, uv add 10TV, we can add that. And if I run this again, okay, now you can see creating the collection, loading knowledge base, reading from these Thai recipes, because that is what we are passing here, right? Thai recipes and so on. And by the way, one thing is also, because now there is this transforming phase from Phidata to AGNO, some of the things might not work. Similar to what this OpenAI embedder, it was saying ID is not there, but I removed that because it is using under the hood OpenAI anyway. but these things you can refer to the documentations if you need, but you get the idea. Now you can see here the question: how do I make chicken and galangal in coconut milk soup? Stream equals to true, it is streaming here. And now you can see here it is using reading this from here, added 14 documents to the knowledge bases. Here you can see indices, versions, and inside there is data, all the things for the knowledge base being created. And here it's running, it did the knowledge base search because we said prefer knowledge base, right? And it searches this thing, chicken and galangal in coconut milk soup, and it gets the answer. Okay, ingredients and instructions. So you can see that this soup is creamy. But one thing is, now once you already, I will comment the first one, and now we can comment this one because our knowledge base is already being created, right? I will just go here, I will comment this one, I will again comment this one, I will save this, and I will run. Now you can see that if I ask the history of Thai curry, really that information is not in the knowledge base, because in the knowledge base I had the informations about the Thai curry but not the history of the Thai curry. It might now go to the internet using the tools and provide me the additional information, right? I will clear the screen first and run the file. UV run agent with knowledge base. Here you can see what is this. It says search knowledge base, and again you see here history of Thai curry. As I said, that is exactly what happened. And again it is running the tools, query history of Thai curry. And now it says the Thai curry has all the different things. It provides us the informations. There is food and wine. There is the Wikipedia for more details and so on. You take it from Wikipedia, meaning that it went through the internet search with the help of DuckDuckGo and provided. You see that based on your question, it is happening because we are providing the instruction quite clear here, saying, okay, search your knowledge base. If the question is better suited for the wave, source the wave to fill in the gaps. Prefer the information in your knowledge base over the web results. Based on the question, it decides. So here comes the autonomy of the agent. In the LLMs, you said, okay, use this, use that, or so on. But the agents, you provide the tools that it needs to navigate through. It will take the action by itself using the tools, right? There is LLM, there is tools which takes the actions as a agent, right? I hope that makes sense. Now we talked about three different things. I want to go back to our diagram also. So here we created the basic agent with the tools, and both of these now combined with the knowledge base, agent with knowledge base, where we also use the tools. With these three different examples that I showed until now, you can do other stops also, whatever you need, right? But now let's go with the multi-agents, how to use multiple agents to do the things. First, let's go through the things that is mentioned in the documentation here. If I go to the user guide, your first agent, and if I scroll a little bit down, so we completed until here, and here is the multi-agent teams. Again, it is self-explanatory here. Agents work best when they have a singular purpose, a narrow scope, and a small number of tools. When the number of tools grows beyond what the language model can handle, or the tools belong to different categories, use a team of agents to spread the load. It's self-explanatory, as I said you before. You can use multiple agents to do the thing. Here we can just take the example. I have shown this example in my previous video also, but I will just take here agent team.py, go back to my VS Code. I'll create a file called agent teams.py. I will paste here and I will walk you through what is there. But first, let me grab this to take the environment variables. Here you can see these things we already did before, right? And again, from the Y Finance, we are using another tool to do the Y Finance tool. First agent, the web agent. We are creating the agent. We give the name web agent. Role is source the web for informations. We use the model. We set the tools DuckDuckGo instructions always include sources. So tools equals to true, markdown equals to true. This is one agent only focused on doing the web search, right? Web agent. Now there is another agent called finance agent, which gets the financial data. All the information is the same parameters, only the thing that we want is different, right? Finance agent role, get finance data, same model. And here you can see the tools being used is Y finance tools, which we imported here, right? And then inside it we said stock price equals to true, analyst recommendations equals to true, company info equals to true. We provide the additional parameters into it. We give the instructions, use tables to display the data. Calls equals to true, markdown equals to true. That is normal as we went through before. Now we have the agent team. We want to use these two agents in one team, right? Same, the thing is same, right? We just give different variable name here, but agent is agent. We have the team, and then we pass the two agents that we created here, web agent and finance agent. We give the model we need to give it. Instructions always include sources, use tables to display the data, same things that we provided before. This is in the list, right? And the show tool calls equals to true, markdown equals to true. That's it. We just save this. And here the question is, what's the market outlook and financial performance of AI semiconductor companies, right? If I ask this question, let's see what happens. I will go here, uv run agent teams.py. I will run this one, and again we need to install multiple packages. Right now I know there is a package called Y Finance. I will say uv run Y Finance. Okay, I think spelling is mistake. Run and add. This is quite confusing sometimes. Add Y Finance. It is installing all the necessary packages there, and once the package is installed, we can and the good part of UV is also you can see that there are some packages which needs to be resolved, because when you install the previous package, some version of the dependency package was installed. Now when you install the Y Finance, it says, okay, I check something and there is the version conflict in some dependencies, I need to resolve it. So it install the package that needs to be installed, which is good for all of the packages being installed, right? So this is the good part. If I go back to the Pi project toml, you can see all the packages that we installed are already here. Now again, if I run this, let's see if there is any additional things that we need to install. I don't think so, but let's see, because that was only the tool that we added in the agents here, right? Okay, it is going through it. You can see here running transfer tasks to web agent, transfer tasks to finance agent. It is transferring the task to two different agents, and it is passing the information, get the latest market, this, and all the necessary parameters is there. And you can see here additional parameters, focus on companies like Nvidia, AMD, and other top players in the AI semiconductor space. The agent is already taking care of those. And here in the tools, you can see analyst recommendations equals true. You can go inside this finance tool and see the different parameters that AGNO uses under the hood. There are many other parameters also being used. And now you can see it is doing the market outlook of AI semiconductor companies. The market outlook remains optimistic. Here is January 29, 2025, meaning it is doing the web search. We have the web agent seeking alpha and so on. Okay, it is still going on. If I scroll a little bit down, you can see all the information is here, and financial performance of leading AI semiconductor companies. There is source 1 and source 2. If you see here on the web search, always include the sources. So it is also including the sources, formatted quite well. Here is the latest financial data for top AI semiconductor companies, Nvidia and AMD. So it says metric, what are the different matrices. This is AMD in a nice format here. And notes, Nvidia shows a higher revenue growth and margins. Both companies have a buy recommendations from analysts, with Nvidia being labeled as a strong buy. And these companies are crucial in advancing AI semiconductor technologies, correct? So you can see here, these are the two sources. You can go to the source and verify that this information is correct. You provided instructions for the agent, and it does the thing for you, right? I will clear this one. Let's see what we did until now from this diagram, right? So we went first, what is AGNO, what are the agents, basic agent, agent with tools, agent with knowledge, multi-agent tools. Now let's go with the agent playground. We type this in the terminal itself, but it's good if we can have that in a UI, so we see visually also. For that, let's go here and let's go this AI playground. And this is the playground. As you can see here, AGNO provides a beautiful agent UI for interacting with your agents. No data is sent to agno.com. All agent data is stored locally in your SQLite database. So we can use this also, right? So running playground locally. How to run this? Let's run the playground application locally so we can chat with our agents using the agentic UI. We can create a file called playground.py and we can copy this, and then we can set up the things how we can do. First, let's copy the code. I will copy this playground.py, right? I will create a file called playground.py. I will paste it here, and before I forget, I will just copy the environment variables here. I will save this one. These are all the things. This is actually the same file, wave agent and the finance agent now in the playground, right? So here you can see we are using the agent storage and creating the agent same as before. Store the agent sessions in the SQLite database. Storage equals this one, table name, we are giving the table name, db file equals agent storage, which we mentioned here. And then if you see, all the comment are also there for us to easily understand. Add date and time to the instructions, add history to the messages, add number of responses 5, markdown equals true. Similarly, down also we have all the different things, SQLite. So finance agent, table name, we have the DB agent storage and so on. So we have these two different agents same as before in the agent teams. And what we did here is app equals to playground. So this is what you need to be also thinking here, playground, and we have the agents, both of these agents and get app, right? And if name equals to main, solve playground app. And this is what is also mentioned in the documentation, but I want to iterate here also. The playground is the name of your file that you write, and the app is what you have mentioned here. You can give whatever you want, it's up to you, but just remember that you need to have the same informations here. I will save this one, but before I run this, I will go to the documentation. If I scroll a little bit down, it is also mentioning here, make sure the short playground app points to the file that contains your playground app. Authenticate with AGNO, right? Authenticate with AGNO. So your local application can let AGNO know that you are running a playground application. No data is sent, it's mentioned here. You can either do AG setup or get the API key from the URL here. So what we can do is maybe we can do AG setup. Let's see what happens, right? So I can go to the VS Code. I will go to the terminal and I will Control V, AG setup. So it says not found. AG command is not found. If I go back, then what did it say? AG setup is not found. So is there something that I need to install here? Maybe not. AG set. Okay. The thing now I get why it is, because we are using the UV. So what we need to do is UV run AG setup. You can see here now it opens the web browser, and I have already logged into this platform, but for you need to be logged in here. You can see my name is here, Sudarshan Koirala. For the first time it will open a browser. You need to authenticate using either GitHub or Gmail account. Once you are logged in, you will be populated with this good looking UI. If I go back to the VS Code, you can see here authentication with agno.com. Welcome to agno, welcome data science basics. So it says me, okay, I am already logged in there. This is the UI. What is the next thing that I need to do? It says or export, right? If you face some difficulty with AG setup, you can go to this dashboard. You can log in separately, go to this API key part, and here will be the API key. Just copy this API key, go back to your VS Code in the .env, paste it here, same as what it is mentioned here. Agno API key equals to the API key that you just copied. Once you do that, it's good to go. We need to install some additional packages also. If you want to run this, this is what we need to install, because we are running something locally, right? But we will follow the same practice that I'm showing you. We will run it add the packages as we go. So run the playground, but before that, we go back here. I will clear the screen. It is already connected. I will run uv run playground.py. If I run this, it will say I need fast API. As I said you before, I can say uv add fast API. Fast API is being installed. If I run this now, it says SQL Alchemy because we are using that to store all the sessions, store the agent sessions in the SQLite database. For that, we need to install SQL Alchemy. I will say uv add SQL Alchemy, right? And once I install that, if I run it, maybe everything is being installed. Let's see. Okay, I need to run still uvcon. So I will say uv add uvcon. That is there. Now if I run the playground, let's see if there is still something. Okay, there isn't. Now as you can see here, it's saying agent playground. So this is the link, right? You can just click the link here, or we already have the link here. If I refresh the page, and now if I go to the endpoint, you can see there is this localhost 777. I can go here, and this is green, meaning that it is active, right? Now I can go here and ask the questions that I asked before. What I can do is I can go back here and ask the same question. Agent teams, what did we ask here? I will go to the UI. So now asking the question in the Python file in the terminal and now in the UI, you see the difference, right? We can just go here, Control V, enter. It is now listening to the same thing that we were using before in our VS Code. Now it is doing its thing here. You can see also here on the right side there is sessions, there is config, and here you can see the tools are DuckDuckGo and DuckDuckGo News. Storage is SQLite storage. Knowledge is there is no knowledge, and the description is nothing here. Instruction always include the sources, and that's it. So now you can see here market outlook for AI semiconductor companies in 2025, and it's showing also us the sources here, and it is going and providing us the information. It looks good in the UI itself. Either you can just go to the VS Code here and go to this agent teams, run this in the terminal, or transform that into the playground.py file and create the playground. Configure that. If you don't want to configure with the AGNO's website, you can run in the Python file itself. But if you are okay with configuring in the website also to have the good looking UI, then you can configure that and see all the different things happening under the hood being shown here. If I go back, here is the answer. Market research, financial performance, and the outlook of semiconductor 2025 appears promising with continued revenue growth projects and so on. So you get the answer. You can copy, thumbs up, thumbs down. I think it okay. Thumbs up, thumbs down does not seems to work, but you can copy, right? And here you can see there is the web agent and the finance agent that we are using, and we are using the OpenAI GPT-4o model. This way you can already see what is here in the UI. Now the last part remaining is the agent observability. Monitor and track your agents. For that, let's go through the documentation. If we go to the agent observability, you want to monitor and track your agents, right? AGNO provides built-in monitoring capabilities that track session and performance metrics through AGNO, the same UI that we went before, to enable monitoring. Authenticate, we already authenticated. Enable monitoring, and this is how you can enable monitor either from the code itself, or you can provide the environment variable AGNO monitor equals to true, so you don't need to provide in each and every codes, right? And then you will have this in the session, right? So for this we can just follow this monitoring.py, just a simple example so that it's there. We have already connected there, right? So I will create a new file called monitoring.py. I will paste this here, and then I will have the environment variables here. Go to the monitoring.py, and you can see here this is a simple example because we are just saying agent markdown true, monitoring also true, share a 2-sentence horror story, right? We haven't provided any API keys or which model to use because it uses OpenAI under the hood, so all the default parameters are used, so you don't need to provide all the different informations. If I save this and then run monitoring dot py. You can see so answer here. If I go to the UI, I'll go to the UI in the chat. So if I refresh the page, right, there is no endpoint because we don't need the endpoint. But if you go to the sessions here, you haven't logged any sessions yet, it should be there. Let's refresh it again. Or do I need to configure it again? Let me go to the documentation. So here it says, okay, this is AGNO setup. Isn't that what we did in the playground? No, it was AG setup and AGNO setup. Isn't it the same thing? Let me go here. Run AGNO setup in your terminal, or AGNO, we can provide API key. But let's say AGNO setup. I think we need to do it all the time. Let's see. We run AGNO setup because I already have it here. CLI authentication succeeded. If I go to the sessions, there is nothing here. But what happens now if I run the same file, monitoring? Okay, I run the monitoring. That now if I go to the sessions, if I refresh, no, it's not still here. Sessions here. No, it's not here. Do I need to do something else in the sessions? No. Let me again go to the documentations. Well, this is how you learn, right? I haven't done this before. So here it says AGNO provides built-in monitoring capability. To enable this, you can do setup. Yeah, I already did the setup. Enable monitoring. Monitoring equals to true when creating the agent. So I had this, and you need to go to the sessions, and you will see locally and view this. Facing issue, check out the troubleshooting guide. But let's see first. Let's go here. I will go here, sessions. This is the same page, it's not there, right? If I go to the troubleshooting guide, here it says waiting for a response from the browser. It seems that we need to provide the API key. Let's see. I will go to the VS Code. I will go to the second page. Here I will do equals to, and now I will go back to the terminal. API key, copy. I think sometimes it needs the API key. I pasted the API key, and if I go back, by the way, I'm showing you again because I will refresh this again. Now I have the API key being set here, right? So I don't need to set up this, but what I can run now is uv run monitoring.py. Let's see now if it shows. I want to see that in the sessions, right? So if I refresh this, okay, it is still not here. I think there is something wrong here because that is exactly what I'm seeing here, but still there is no sessions being shown here for some reason. Is there something that I can do? Let me go to the documentation. Let me go back to the documentation. This is what we want to go export. AGNO, we exported that. Monitoring equals to true when creating an agent. Enable monitoring, one of these. So we have monitoring equals to true, but what if we have these also set up? Let's see, because sometimes it helps with other alternatives. So what we can do is AGNO monitor equals to true. I save this one. I will run this again, right? This is there. I will go to the sessions. I will refresh this. It is not still there. The session does not seem to be working. But one thing I can do now is I have this AGNO monitor equals to true. What if I run the playground? So on playground.py, because now the local host is connected and maybe it will show the monitoring, right? So I can go to this playground. Yeah, I can go from here also. Open. I will go here and I will say, okay, What tools do you have? Just a simple example. It's connected to 777 functions, DuckDuckGo news, parallel, DuckDuckGo shorts, and so on. And here is the session, most recent. So here is the session config we have here, and the session is what's the market outlook. If I go to the sessions, start chatting to your agents, and your sessions will be logged here. Okay, I have already chatted with the sessions, but it's not here. Probably something is not working in the session side, but anyway, I think sessions is not here for some reason. Maybe it is still in the process of making, but if you are from AGNO, and maybe you can provide some suggestions why it is not on here, but it is showing in the agent side. For example, if I go to the playground, when I have this localhost 777, I can see the sessions most recent, but I'm not seeing it in the sessions tab shown here. If I go here, it says sessions, and I can see in the sessions, but for some reason it is not shown here. I hope when you watch this video it will be already fixed. When you run it in a playground, we can see in the session on the right side there is the config. If I go here, localhost 777, there is the sessions, the questions you asked, it should be logged here. It is there, the config is there, sessions here, but it's not in the sessions, so probably there will be at some point. I think that's all I wanted to show you in this video, because we covered almost all of the things from the diagram I explained in the beginning. I hope you learn something new about AGNO and how we build the agents. The main thing is that what is agent, and what is the basic agent, how we can add tools on top of it, add the knowledge base on top of it, and how we can create multiple agents and have that in one agent. Having a good UI also helps to see all the different agents and so on. So yeah, that's all for this video. Let me know in the comment section if you were able to follow it or not. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.